Hi, my name is Maya Fortune with Tribeca New Music. I'm here today with Orange Road, who will be performing at the Domena Center for Classical Music on November 5th. Thank you for being here.
Thank you
Thank
for having us.
you.
Yeah, so can you tell us a little bit about how Orange Road was formed and a little bit about your own individual backgrounds as musicians?
Would you like to take it?
Sure. Okay, so Orange Road started as a graduate assistantship string quartet at the University of South Carolina, which is where we were working on various graduate degrees. And they have two graduate string quartets, a classical normal quartet that plays stuff like Beethoven and Mozart, and then a contemporary string quartet. The three, so Miguel, Jordan, the cellist, and myself were, we started our programs at the same time. Um, and we had two temporary violinists. In our second year, we got our violinist that was more permanent at that point. Um, and we played together and we just clicked, and people really encouraged us and said, "Hey, you guys should try to make it," you know? And we I would say the moment that we had that realization and received that positive encouragement um, was after we performed Tetros by Yanis Xenakis. Yeah, we just received such positive reception, and we believed people when they said you guys could make it. And and so do you want to tell the next part?
And to give you a little more lore, we were under the guidance of R.E. Streisfeld, who was one of the founding members of the Jack Quartet, and our baptism of fire, so to speak, was going to Italy and playing this great new music festival in Cortona, and it was like the who's who of new music. And we had been a very enthusiastic group of young people playing crazy music, but that was the first time where people in the industry said, "You you guys are crazy! Like it's incredible you're even attempting the thing. You should go pro." And so then we had the opportunity to apply for the Jack Quartet program at the New School in New York, which we got, and now we're here in residency at Manus. So that's how the group came to be. And then individually, I can't speak for, I mean, I could speak for Jordan, but I'm not going to. Um, I started the violin when I was 4. That doesn't mean I was very good when I was 4. I just started it, and then I did a lot of my training in Spain, and I also studied musicology because I'm a little bit of a nerd in so many respects. And then I was interested in coming to America, so I came here for my graduate studies. And since I was so interested in new music, then I also studied with Ari Streisel in South Carolina.
My musical background, I started on the piano when I was 7, and then when I was 12 years old, my little sister, who's 3 years younger than I am, started playing the violin, and I was so jealous. And so for a year, I would just pick up her violin and teach myself. And I got to the point where I was better than she was, and I wasn't the one having lessons. And my mom finally gave in. to me to getting lessons. And so I started on violin when I was 12. And then in high school, maybe like around 14, 15 years old, um, my orchestra teacher said, "Woe is me, we don't have enough violists." And I was like, "Are you kidding? I don't want to play the viola. That's the lamest instrument in the world. Like, they always sound terrible." And really, my
That's what I
real
would
thoughts.
say too. Yeah.
And I was like, no, I was so excited to be in the first violin section, you know? And then no. And I was like, fine, I'm just doing this as a favor and because I respect you. And then I fell in love with it.
You discovered the C string.
I discovered the C string and I was like, this is the most beautiful instrument I've ever heard. And it just changed my life. And then I also realized that the viola has a little less competition than the violin, and that was also a plus. And so I embraced it and I switched to the violin or the viola, sorry, switched to the viola completely. And then I went to Utah State University and studied with the Fry Street Quartet for my undergrad. And that's where I really fell in love with chamber music. And I also got a little exposure to contemporary music. I got to premiere a couple of pieces there. And so when I was getting ready to go to South Carolina, I was given the option of choosing if I wanted to be in the normal quartet or the contemporary string quartet. And I was like, even though it's scary and I didn't know much, I was like, I should do the contemporary because it would be good for me, like eating Brussels sprouts.
Yeah.
Like,
You're eating a lot of vegetables then. Damn.
So,
and then
yeah.
I grew to love it, unlike Brussels sprouts. I don't like Brussels sprouts, but I really grew to love contemporary music.
But
Sorry,
you
yeah.
no, but you both started kind of with a more traditional journey.
Yeah, well, I was kind of I was forced to. So I'm told, I don't quite remember it, but I'm told that as a child, my dad got this collection of like classical music CDs. And I'm told that as like, as a 2-year-old, I figured out how to play the CDs and I scratched up and broke all the new music ones because I love them so much.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, but then
So,
in conservatory, it was made very clear to me that we were there to conserve.
Mm.
So it was very frowned upon. My love for new music was
yeah.
not encouraged.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So now with this residency at the new school, what what does that entail basically? And how are you guys bringing all of this new contemporary education from South Carolina and from your past to the residency now?
Oh, it's incredible. It's incredible. This is probably the best deal in the history of deals. We get to choose our own adventure. We get to have lessons and coachings with all the members of the Jack Quartet on anything we want. And they are so funny because if I think I'm crazy, they're 20 times crazier. So it doesn't matter what we bring them. They say, "Oh, of course, absolutely." And they're just, we collaborate with composers all the time, and they'll write a piece for us, and then we take it to the Jack Quartet. They've never seen the piece ever, and they just like glance at it, and they already have such a deep understanding of how the music goes, how it should be communicated, and just honestly being in the presence of any of the four because they're all so incredible. And then the school itself is so incredible. We we have so many opportunities. We are playing music written for us. We're playing music for film. We got to collaborate with Michael Riesman, who's the pianist and conductor of the Philip Glass Ensemble, and probably a friend of Tribeca New Music. I would hope so. So it really is a great opportunity. And they give us a locker in New
That's a
York City.
special thing. Storage in New York City is unheard of.
I
Wow.
know.
Wow. Yeah, actually, I was going to mention this before, but I Ari Streisfeld was my teacher in high school.
No way.
Oh my goodness.
And he was so amazing because a lot of the techniques that he taught me were just so helpful in terms of like really understanding my instrument. I play violin, so sorry, viola. I understand. I get it. I get it. How does the Jack Quartet help you with what kind of techniques have you learned from them? Or what have you guys learned together when you're kind of exploring this new music?
Mm.
For me, so I'll give you a little story that for me is very representative. So they're not scared of anything, and nothing is off limits for them, and everything is normal. So we play Black Angels, and in Black Angels there's two movements that you hold the violin like if it was a cello, but then you play it instead of having the left hand here and the right hand here, you go backwards. It's so hard. It really sounds bad if you don't control it super, super well. And just like seeing Austin be like, oh, you practice it, a rhythm to it. So you just go, oh, what's gonna happen? You go, boom. Just that little thing of like everything you do, it doesn't matter how crazy it might seem at first. They have like this sense, like they're kind of like, I don't know, so calm, kind of like a monk. And they have this sense of always like approaching something with like a ritual that really helps grounding interpretations as crazy as the music might seem.
And I would add to that, there's intention and one thing I've learned from uh, is just to take things as far as you can. Like when we play something for them, whether it's something they've played before or it's a new piece written for us, they always ask more. Like, say we're playing Ponticello, and one of my favorite coachings, I mean, they've all been amazing, but one that stands out to me was when we were playing Black Angels for them, and in the first movement we do play Ponticello, and Austin was just describing this cloud of sound that's like noisy, and I can't even replicate what he was saying, but he was just making such a vivid description that it helped us make our sound even better, more noisy, more colorful, more uniform as a group. And yeah, they just explain things in such a clear and intelligent way. It's amazing. They're so detailed in what they do.
That's so cool. I want to sit in on a coaching. That sounds amazing. So one thing that I noticed on your website is that your statement about being a new music string quartet, and you're performing not only in traditional halls but in institutions and halls and bars. And why did you think it was an important component of your mission?
I can talk about that.
Sure.
Yeah.
So for us, I think what's most important is collaboration, and collaboration doesn't necessarily have to be just with composers, which is the norm for new music quartets. We also like to collaborate with institutions, and not just like showing up, we use your venue, bye bye, see you later. But things like, for example, one of my favorite concerts that we did recently, we played Georg Friedrich Haas third quartet, which is in the dark. And we did it in the planetarium of the South Carolina State Museum. And so for that, we collaborated with the museum on all the promo materials, interviews like such as this one, and then the space itself. Because then you get to do it in a planetarium instead of a theater or auditorium. And the piece completely in the dark. Each of us is in a corner of the venue, and then you create this like crazy sound and like the whole thing, you have to memorize it. So things like that, where you bring like the whole institution together with us. Or for example, when we did a residency at the University of Florida, and then we collaborated not only with the composition department, but also with the dance department. And so we were paired with composers who would write, and then we would collaborate with the dancers to create like a cohesive performance of the piece. And I think that's what we love the most. Those kinds of like big scale collaborations.
That's super cool.
Yeah. And people came to that concert who would never have come to a concert of ours at the School of Music. You
Right.
know, like people who loved the planetarium, people who had been to the museum before came and had never experienced music like that. And it was really neat to be able to share that with them.
They thought we were gonna play a candlelight show and play some Ariana Grande because it's in the planetarium, it's in the dark. Our promo materials were super cool, and they all thought, "Oh, this is gonna be some like Dua Lipa show."
Well, I
And
mean, it's outreach. It's compelling people that wouldn't normally go to something. I mean, you want to be able to not know some of your audience, right? You want to have the unexpected there. So that's
oh
really
yeah, no, but
fantastic.
they loved it. They loved it. So many people were coming up to us after the show. How do you do it? How do you do it? Well, we memorized the entire thing, and it's like a game. Wait, what?
Wow, that's awesome. So for the November 5th show at the Domenico Center for Classical Music, what will you be doing? What is your program?
We are doing mainly music from our friends, which we are extremely excited about. I think one of the highlights for me is we're playing our friend Eric's Apocrypha of the Eastern Ranges piece, which is fiddle inspired, but also Black Angels and Tetras inspired. And so that for me particularly, that's very cool because I get to do two things that I know how to do, which is to play scary new music, and then something that I'm not good at, which is playing fiddle. So I get to learn from my American colleagues how to get that sound, that twang. So that one for me, I love it. And then I think another highlight, only because and I'll reveal the secret in a way. It's the piece by Alex Barson, Lead Tongue, which at first I was like, what does this even mean? And when we played it, and I'll show you guys after the concert, he made a little postcard. And it turns out that the piece, it's because he's Egyptian and he gets pills from Egypt to help him sleep. And apparently they're the best pills in the world. This is legal, by the way. You can do this. But they leave you with this weird aftertaste of lead. And he wanted to put that in music. I had no idea when we played it. I also had no idea. I was like, lead tongue or lead tongue? What is this? But then after learning that that's what the inspiration comes from, oh, such a cool piece. You guys are gonna love it. Those are two of the highlights for me. Nicky probably has other highlights.
No, they're really fun pieces. Another piece I'm really excited for that kind of also has a fiddle flair in some ways, is Songs of Innocence and Experience by Bobby G. And it's been so fun to learn. It's hard, but it's really fun. Um, yeah, it's just full of energy. And yeah, I'm really excited. It's a very high energy concert. And so I would say, yeah, to the audience, just be prepared to be energized.
Maybe they'll be sweaty after we're done.
Yeah, I will be.
You're gonna be, you for sure. Yeah.
I don't know, it's cold in there. Just warning you
Oh
now.
no.
Yeah, but I'm super excited. I can't wait to get hyped up in my chair. So one thing that we always ask is what's some advice for any up and coming ensemble that might be wanting to explore the contemporary world?
First one is to believe that it's possible.
You stole mine.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Okay, you can edit this.
No,
I'll
no,
take
no.
this out.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, just I think we're very lucky because we get to create our own way of doing things. We get to build our own audience. And then, because, classical music is such a competitive world in the worst possible sense, where people are going to the concert. A lot of people go to classical music concerts just to see if it sounds live the same as it sounds on Spotify. And then if it doesn't, they're mad. So they're not really going for an experience, and everything's so limited. But in new music, people are so open-minded, and you can create your own way, and you can create and collaborate with people that you feel close to. So just believing as a musician that that is possible. It's a path that you can have, and you can be supported, and you can make a living, and you don't necessarily have to win an orchestra audition.
Yeah.
Just that is so important for a young musician.
I guess I had a different interpretation of just believe it's possible. I have been pushed outside of my comfort zone a lot in this quartet. Um, for example, when we first looked over the score for Tetras by Xenakis, I literally teared up. Not because it was beautiful, but because I was terrified. And like I almost burst into tears
Nicky,
because I
for
was
some
so
reason,
scared.
Nicky, for some reason, missed the conversation when we were all like, Tetras is the hardest piece ever written for string quartet. When we talked about it with Ari, somehow Nicky wasn't listening, or she wasn't there. And she said, "Oh yeah, no, sure, yeah, that sounds great. We'll play. Oh yeah, we'll play it." She had never listened to it,
Never looked at the score.
or read it.
Yeah.
You were
And
so enthusiastic, though.
I know I was. Yeah, very naive too. And so my advice would be push yourself and do things that are hard and do things that you think you can't do because you can't. I've learned that I can play this crazy hard music and it pushes me and it makes me a better musician. Um, I would also say go for things that you don't think you're good enough for. When we auditioned and applied for the program at Manus, we all were like, this is such a long shot. Like, why are we doing this? And we really did it. We were like, oh yeah, we'll apply. And be like, oh, that was too bad, but like that's okay. We didn't expect anything. And then we got it. And we were so surprised. And so, yeah, that's my other piece is go for things that you feel are impossible, musically and um professionally, like opportunity wise.
Okay, cool. This is so cool. Yeah, this has been helping
Thank
so much.
you. I'm definitely going to use that advice myself as well. Thank you so much for talking with me. I'm so excited to see you perform on November 5th at the Domena Center, and I think everyone is super excited for this amazing program.
Thank you,
Us too.
Maya.